Hey guys, and welcome to another AoE2 2v2 ranked audio commentary. I'm not going to do a full audio commentary of this replay because we ended up losing this game, but I did a play in the early stages of the game that I thought was worth highlighting and posting to YouTube. So I'm just going to go over my start in this game and then what happened after that. So I started with a villager in the middle, a villager in the southwest, and a villager kind of over here. And I ended up docking in the southwest corner because docking in the corner is generally better than docking along the bottom edge. I found a sheep along the shoreline, sent the sheep up and found an enemy TC location, so that's good. We know one of the enemies is there. I built a TC here. This location is not the optimal location for if there's an enemy close by, because I do have the chance of being walled out from resources. But if there's no one here, it's actually a great TC spot because I've got two wood lines up against the TC, right against the gold, got some nearby hunt, I've got a nearby stone and berries, and I actually ended up being on a peninsula, so it's actually a very easily defendable position. So I've got another sheep that I'm using to scout around, and I'm sending some villagers out to take hunt. I'm just going to unpause the replay. I'm just going to speed it up a little bit. So there, I'm just going to pause again. So one of the things I talked about in my first audio commentary was the conventional wisdom on Nomad starts. So the conventional wisdom is use your dock villagers to build a house, then a dock, or a dock, then a house, and then go to shorefish. Now, I spoke about the fact that I'd watched some tournaments recently where I saw that players weren't doing that, and they were using their TC villagers to dock, TC villagers to make a house instead of the dock villager. One of the reasons why I thought that might be is it makes the dock a bit more covert. It's a bit harder to find with sheep scouting and villagers scouting. And here, I've ended up finding an enemy house with a sheep. Now that leads me to believe that Blue's dock is also in this area. So I'm just going to speed up the replay a little bit more. So I'm using my sheep, trying to find Blue's dock. Don't end up seeing it along the top there. So I think it's over here, but I also found a boar. So I'm going to bring in the boar. Focus on that first. Bring in the hunt villagers to help shoot the boar. There we go. I've shot the boar. And now I'm going to go and look. I just got housed there, a bit sloppy. I'm going to go and look for Blue's dock. And there we go. I found Blue's dock. Okay, so I'm taking this is a bit of a risk, but this is something that I think it's worth trying in Nomad, and it's probably going to have a lot more success at like the lower to mid elos. So here we go. Now I'm going to try and wall in Blue's villager. Now this probably isn't the absolute best play here, because what I should have done is I just go forward. So this is me making sure that Blue's villager can't get out to make another dock. However, what I probably could have done is set the villager inside that same tile as the other villager, walled myself in, and then started attacking Blue's villager. And as long as I get the first hit, I'm going to win the Vill fight. And because my TC is also quite close, I could always bring in a second villager to Vill fight Blue's Vill. I ended up just going for the wall in though. And what this does is it prevents Blue's villager from being able to make a second dock in the event that Blue's going to try and contest water. So I'm just going to fast forward the replay here. So you also note that Blue hasn't reacted. So if I change my point of view to, I think it's this one. Okay, so here's the Elmo. This is the Blue player. This is his point of view. So he's looking here. So he's not actually looking at his dock. And he doesn't actually notice that he's being walled in until now. So now Blue's villager is starting to attack the palisade foundation. He's not actually gathering from the shorefish. I mean, there's only 27 food left there, but that 27 food is now delayed. So that's slightly slowing him down. And then say that Blue's villager collects the 27 food. What does that villager then do? He makes extra houses, possibly makes the extra dock. There's now no possibility for that villager to do that. So I'm just continuing to wall in Blue's villager just to make sure he's not going to be able to get out. And I'm committing one villager to, continuously build houses. I'm probably spending a little bit more wood than I would have if I wasn't going for this play. But again, my strategy is going to be, let's take Blue off water. Let's get him out and try and slow him down a little bit, just to make sure he can't do a fish boom. He's not going to have as good not going to have as good food income in early castle age because of this. So he's got quite a few. He's got a fair few fishing ships. It's like 4 or 5, something like that. Just continuing to wall him in. And I'm on the way up to the feudal age. So there we go. As soon as I get up, I start making a couple of fire ships. I also ask my ally to make one because his dock's right there. He might as well. It's only 25 gold that he's got to spend. He might as well help me with this strategy. So my ally's got a fire ship onto Blue's fish. Blue also made one fire ship. He's I don't know where he's sending it. He's sending it a bit south, probably to go and look for my dock or something like that. He's now coming back. We're starting to work away on his fishing ships and to kill his fire ships, and then I'm going to kill his villager with my fire ships. So now there's no possibility that Blue's going to have a second dock, at least in this area. Usually what would happen here, particularly in Nomad 2v2, is that player's just going to give up on water. They've probably already gathered, like a lot of players that when you're playing in a 2v2, it'll either be both players will do some navy, and then one will transition to land a bit faster than the other, or one just won't commit at all to water. They'll make 5, 6 fishing ships and then just expect that it's going to die probably, and then just can transition straight to land. Now the thing that you probably need to be wary of when you're doing a play like this is Blue's going to get taken off water, so that means that he's going to be the first player from the other team to transition to land, which is probably already going to be the case considering that he's Spanish. He's obviously going to go for a castle and some conquistadors, and that's what actually ended up making us lose the game, is his conks got into my ally's eco and ended up pretty much taking him out of the game. But we're at least making sure that this is giving us a very good chance to win water, and we did actually win water in this game. Even though at the moment his ally is idling my fishing eco by coming through with fire ships, my military is over here. So what I ended up doing is trying to migrate as much as my fishing eco over to this position, and I redocked over here. And then I ended up taking out Teal's military and fishing ships later on in Castle Age. So Blue has queued up some things in his dock. I'm just a little bit worried about that. I'm a little bit focused on the moment on microing my ships here, and Blue ends up taking out 2 of my navy with a demo and a fire ship, but that's all he's going to be committing to. He's up to Castle Age. That's all he really needed from his fishing ships. And I've taken down his dock. So now it's 1 versus 1 on water. I've still got 2 docks alive here. Redocking up here, and I'm gonna win water. That strategy ends up paying out. Unfortunately, we didn't lose the game, but hopefully this video is helpful for someone who wants to learn some more sort of advanced tips about how to get an edge on Nomad.